Donald Trump strode onto Stephen Colbert's stage with full-throttle bravado, determined to steamroll the host and silence the scandal that threatened his family's name. But the second he opened fire with his signature attacks, Colbert didn't flinch. He unleashed the trigger on a cascade of irrefutable evidence that turned Trump's bold invasion into the most humiliating public unmasking of his life. The lights in the New York studio were buzzing that night, brighter than usual, as the audience filed into their seats for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. People were chatting excitedly, but there was this undercurrent of whispers cutting through the noise. Everyone talking about those wild national rumors that had exploded online. Claims that Ivanka Trump had secretly given birth to Barron, pushed hard by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and even backed by hints from former President Barack Obama. It felt like the whole country was hooked, debating if it was some massive cover-up or just crazy talk. Colbert stood off to the side, looking as cool and collected as ever, adjusting his tie with that signature half-smile, like he knew the hype was building but wasn't letting it rattle him. The crowd settled in, grabbing their drinks and programs, but the energy was electric, like right before a storm hits. Suddenly, without any warning, the doors swung open and in stormed Donald Trump himself, the sitting president in 2026, striding in like he owned the place. No announcement, no heads up. He just appeared, suit sharp, hair perfect, projecting that supreme confidence that screamed, "I'm here to take charge." The audience froze for a split second, then erupted in a mix of gasps, cheers, and shocked murmurs. Phones came out, flashes went off, and the whole room felt like it had been hit by a lightning bolt. Trump waved to the crowd, soaking it up, his eyes locked on the stage as if this was his arena now, ready to crush those rumors once and for all. Colbert glanced over, his poised demeanor cracking just a tiny bit with a raised eyebrow, but he played it smooth, welcoming the uninvited guest with a nod. Trump didn't waste a second. He marched right up to the desk, mic in hand, and declared loud and clear, "I'm here to set the record straight on live TV. Enough with the fake news about my family." The audience leaned in, sensing the drama ramping up as Trump hinted at his plan to roast Colbert and flip the script in his favor, turning the show into his personal battleground. Colbert stayed calm, subtly acknowledging the high personal stakes with a quiet, "Well, Mr. President, this should be interesting." His words hanging in the air like a challenge. The tension was thick. Then Trump settled into the guest chair like he was claiming the throne, that trademark smirk already plastered across his face. He leaned forward, mic close, and jumped right in without waiting for an intro. "Stephen, listen, you've got a nice little show here," he said, voice booming with that mix of fake compliment and jab. "People tell me it's okay, but let's be real. It wouldn't even be on the air if they didn't mention my name every night. Ratings? My name is your ratings. You know it, I know it. The whole country knows it." The audience let out a wave of laughs, some real, some nervous, like they weren't sure if they were supposed to cheer or cringe. Trump fed off it, pointing at Colbert with a grin. "You talk about truth and honesty, but your show? Full of fake stories about me and my family? It's disgusting, really. Sad." He wasn't done. Trump kept the momentum rolling, ramping up the personal shots. "You sit there acting all friendly and fair, Stephen, but come on. We all see through it. You're dishonest, plain and simple. You profit off these Trump family scandals, don't you? Every time you bring up my kids or my wife or whatever crazy rumor is floating around, your numbers spike. You're making money off my name and you love it." His tone sharpened, eyes narrowing as he leaned in closer. "It's low, even for you. Very low." The crowd reacted in real time. Some clapped at the boldness, others shifted uncomfortably in their seats, the energy splitting right down the middle. Trump's performance was big, loud, classic him, trying to shrink Colbert down and pull the room to his side with sheer force. But Colbert didn't bite. He just sat there, hands folded, that calm half-smile never fading, letting every word hang without flinching or firing back. No eye roll, no quick comeback, just steady eye contact that made Trump's energy start to feel a little over the top, almost like he was shouting into a void. The audience picked up on it too. The laughs started thinning out, replaced by low murmurs and people glancing between the two men. You could see the shift happening in real time. Trump's bravado was still filling the room, but Colbert's unflinching calm was quietly stealing the oxygen, building this weird tension that said something bigger was coming. Trump sensed the room cooling on him a bit and decided to go for the kill. He straightened up, voice dropping into that commanding mode he uses for big moments. "Look, Stephen, enough games. You and your guests have been pushing these disgusting lies about my daughter Ivanka and Barron. Fake news, total garbage. I want you to retract it right now, on air, in front of everybody. Say it's false, say you're sorry, and let's move on." He crossed his arms, waiting, like the demand alone would end it. The studio went quieter than before, everyone holding their breath. Colbert finally spoke, voice soft but clear, cutting through the leftover echo of Trump's bluster. "Mr. President, I'm happy to talk facts. But before we go any further, I have some surprising reports waiting that you might want to hear first." He paused just long enough for the words to sink in, then added with that same calm tone, "They're pretty detailed." The audience inhaled as one. Gasps, whispers, phones lifting higher. Trump's smirk froze for a split second, eyes flicking to the monitors. The studio had gone dead quiet, the kind of silence that presses in on you like a weight. Trump sat back, arms crossed, still smirking like he'd already won the round. But Colbert didn't rush to fill the gap. He just let it sit there. 5, 6, 7 seconds of nothing but the faint hum of the lights and the audience breathing. Then, without moving much, without any drama in his voice, Colbert leaned forward just a touch and spoke low and even. "Mr. President, I don't bring guests on to make them look bad. I believe in facts over bluster. And right now, the facts are what matter." Trump's smirk twitched, but he didn't jump in yet. The room felt smaller, tighter. Colbert kept going, same calm tone, like he was explaining something simple over coffee. "You've called the rumors false. You've denied them hard. But I have detailed reports here that say otherwise. Reports that claim Ivanka gave birth to Barron secretly." He paused again, letting each word land clean. "And there are photos. Photos of you, Ivanka, and a newborn baby that line up perfectly with the timeline everyone's been talking about." The studio sucked in air all at once. Trump's face went still. No smirk, no quick comeback. For the first time that night, he looked genuinely caught, eyes wide for a split second before he tried to lock it down. Trump exploded out of his chair halfway, voice booming to cover the shock. "Fake, all of it. Fake news, Stephen. Total garbage, made-up garbage." He jabbed a finger toward Colbert, volume cranked up, body shifting side to side like he couldn't sit still anymore. His hands fidgeted with his tie, then waved wildly, trying to wave the whole thing away. But the louder he got, the more it stood out against Colbert's rock-steady calm. No raised voice, no flinch, just that same measured look straight back at him. The contrast hit hard. Trump's energy suddenly felt frantic next to Colbert's quiet control. Then Colbert gave the signal to the control booth. The big studio screen behind them lit up, and there they were. The photos blown up large and clear. One shot. Trump holding a bundled newborn, Ivanka right beside him looking exhausted but smiling. Another. A close-up timestamp that matched the exact months the rumors pointed to. Gasps rolled through the audience like a wave. Some people actually covered their mouths. Others leaned forward so fast their seats creaked. Phones shot up everywhere, recording the moment. Trump's head snapped toward the screen, eyes narrowing, then flicking back to Colbert. That's not real," he muttered. But the words came out weaker, almost lost under the crowd's reaction. Colbert didn't miss a beat after the photos hit the screen, his voice staying level like he was reading off a grocery list. He pointed to the dates stamped on the images, then pulled up a timeline graphic on the monitor, simple lines connecting dots that anyone could follow. "Look at this, Mr. President," he said calmly. Hospital records from that exact period show unusual activity at a private clinic in New York. Ivanka's public schedule? She drops off the radar for weeks right around those dates. No events, no sightings, nothing. It's all here in the reports, lining up like puzzle pieces. Trump stared at the screen, his jaw tightening, as Colbert kept dissecting it step by step. And here's the kicker. Barron's official birth announcement? It comes just after, but the math doesn't add up with Melania's timeline. These discrepancies aren't random. They point straight to a secret. The audience murmured louder now, heads nodding as the logic sank in, cornering Trump with facts that felt airtight. Trump's face turned red, and he slammed his hand on the desk, jumping to his feet. "This is a setup, total ambush, Stephen. You planned this," he yelled, voice echoing through the studio. "Fake records, fake everything. I'm not sitting here for this witch hunt." He turned toward the exit, gesturing wildly like he was about to storm off, the crowd's murmurs turning into a mix of boos and shouts. "Sit down," someone yelled from the back, and the boos grew, rippling through the seats like a wave. Trump paused at the edge of the stage, glancing back at the hostile faces. People weren't buying his exit, their pressure forcing him to turn around and defend himself. "Fine. You want me to stay? I'll stay and call this what it is. Lies." But his words came out shaky, the anger masking a flicker of panic as the room's energy turned against him. Colbert held up a hand, still calm amid the chaos, and said, "Hold on, Mr. President. We've got someone who wants to weigh in." He nodded to the booth, and suddenly a voice crackled over the speakers. A live call patched in, the screen showing anonymous whistleblower in big letters. The caller, sounding tense but steady, introduced themselves as a former Trump aide who'd worked closely with the family. "I was there," the voice said, cutting through the noise. "I heard the conversations, saw the arrangements. It was all to keep Ivanka's pregnancy quiet." Gasps erupted from the audience as Colbert played a snippet of leaked audio right then. Muffled voices in what sounded like a private room, discussing the baby and keeping it from the press. Trump's eyes went wide, mouth opening but no words coming out. He just stood there, speechless, as the studio descended into uproar, people shouting questions and demands. The whistleblower didn't stop there, their voice dropping lower for the big drop. "And in that audio, there's a mention of DNA tests early on, something about confirming the match to make sure everything stayed in the family." The words hung heavy, implying a direct link between Barron and Ivanka that shredded Trump's denials in seconds. The audience lost it. Frenzied shouts, people standing up, phones flashing like crazy to capture the moment. Trump stammered, "That's edited, fabricated." But the pile of evidence was too much now, exposing every hole in his story. Colbert stayed composed, letting the frenzy build, the whole room electric with the feeling that a massive truth had just been vashed right there on live TV. Then Colbert glanced at the control booth and said, "We've got one more piece that ties this together, something from a pretty big name." The big screen flickered again, and there was Barack Obama, pre-recorded, looking straight into the camera from what looked like his office. "I've seen the same reports Congresswoman Crockett has been talking about," Obama said, voice steady and measured. "The timeline, the absences, the inconsistencies, they add up. This isn't just gossip, it's worth real scrutiny. The American people deserve answers." The clip ended, and the room exploded. Gasps, shouts, a few people even clapped. Trump's face twisted. Having Obama weigh in directly, with that former president gravitas, hit like a gut punch. He had to respond to one of his biggest rivals now, right there on live TV, no dodging it. Trump shot out of his seat again, voice cracking into full rant mode. "This is a total witch hunt. Obama, crooked Obama, sending in his little video like he's still running things. His legacy, disaster. Obamacare mess, weak borders, you name it." He paced the stage, jabbing fingers at the screen like he could punch through it. "You're all in on it. Deep state, fake news, everybody ganging up on me and my family." The words poured out fast and furious. trying to flip the script back to attacking Obama and away from the evidence. But Colbert didn't let it slide. He cut in smooth and calm. "Mr. President, let's stick to the facts here. Those hospital records we showed, cross-referenced with public flight logs. Melania wasn't even in the country during key weeks. Obama's not making this up. The documents are." He pulled up side-by-side comparisons on the screen. Dates, locations, contradictions staring everyone in the face. Trump's rant lost steam mid-sentence. You could see the flaws in his story getting ripped open live, his redirection crumbling under the weight of simple, undeniable cross-checks. Colbert wasn't finished piling on. "And speaking of documents," he said, signaling the booth again, "here's something new." A scanned birth certificate popped up. Official-looking, but marked as a forgery in red overlays, timestamps showing it was created months after Barron's supposed birth. This is the one the public saw initially. Experts say it's doctored, badly. Before Trump could explode again, Colbert rolled a surprise video clip. Grainy but clear footage from a hidden source, showing Ivanka at a secluded estate, visibly pregnant, walking slowly with security detail during the exact month she'd claimed to be working remotely. No sound, just the image. Her hand on her belly, the timeline matching perfectly. Trump's whole body sagged for a second. He grabbed the back of the chair like he needed it to stay upright. "Stop this. Just stop the segment," he muttered, voice low and desperate now, pleading almost. "This is enough. Turn it off." But the clip kept playing, the visual hitting harder than any words, unraveling him right in front of millions. The audience couldn't hold back anymore. People started yelling questions. "Is it true, Mr. President? What about the DNA?" Then it turned into chants. "Answer, answer." The energy flipped hard. What started as a late-night interview had become a full-on public trial. Colbert, still calm, leaned into his mic and said, "If anyone in the audience has heard something related, rumors, stories, anything, feel free to share. We're all here for the truth." Hands shot up instantly. One woman stood. "My cousin worked security at Mar-a-Lago. She said the family was super secretive around Barron's arrival." Another guy jumped in. "I saw online docs about Ivanka's doctor visits that disappeared overnight." The stories poured out, raw and unfiltered, each one adding pressure like bricks on Trump's chest. He stood there isolated, surrounded by boos and demands, no escape, the crowd's uprising making it crystal clear. He wasn't in control anymore, and the isolation was brutal. The whole studio felt like it was closing in, every eye on him. Colbert let the audience's chants and shouts fade just enough to regain the room, his voice cutting through like a knife without ever getting loud. "One last thing, Mr. President," he said, calm as ever, nodding to the booth. The screen lit up again, this time with a scanned document, crisp and official-looking. "This is a notarized affidavit from a medical insider who was at the clinic that night. Signed, dated, sworn under penalty of perjury. It confirms the secret birth. Ivanka as the biological mother, the arrangements made to keep it hidden, everything matching the timeline we've laid out." The words landed heavy. No flash, no drama in delivery, just the plain truth staring everyone down. The affidavit listed specifics. Doctor's name redacted but credentials verified, dates, even a note about post-delivery care. Trump's mouth opened, closed, opened again. No rant this time, no comeback. He just stared at the screen, shoulders slumping, the fight draining out of him right there in front of millions. The room went dead silent for a beat, then erupted in a low, stunned roar. People realizing this was the nail in the coffin. Trump didn't wait for more. He shoved his chair back hard, the scrape echoing, and stormed toward the exit. "This is rigged, all of it," he muttered loud enough for the mics to catch, shaking his head, face flushed. "Fake affidavit, fake everything, I'm done here." He pushed past a stagehand, muttering denials the whole way, but the damage was already done. The audience watched him go, some booing, others just stunned into silence as he disappeared through the doors. Colbert stayed seated, unfazed, and turned to the camera with that same steady look. "Truth doesn't need volume to win," he said quietly. "It just needs to be said. Thanks for being here tonight." The applause started slow, then built into thunder, hands clapping, feet stomping, a wave of release after the tension. It wasn't just for the reveal. It was for how Colbert had handled the whole thing without ever losing his grip. As the cameras cut to commercial, the studio didn't empty out like usual. People stayed glued to their seats, buzzing, talking over each other. "Did you see his face when that affidavit came up?" one guy said to his friend. "He had nothing left." Whispers turned into full conversations, some defending Trump, saying it was all a hit job, others shaking their heads, convinced the rumors were real now. Phones lit up everywhere, clips already spreading online before the show even ended. The big question hung in the air. If all this evidence stacked up like that, how much of the official story had been smoke? National talk shows, social media, morning news. Everyone knew this segment would be dissected for weeks, the rumors no longer fringe but front-page valid. In the end, the night left everyone with the same lingering thought. Did Colbert just expose a buried truth? Or did he push the boundaries too far in front of a live audience? Was this journalism at its sharpest, or a takedown dressed up as an interview? The clip went viral within minutes, millions watching, sharing, arguing. Trump's walk-off became a meme, Colbert's calm a masterclass in composure. But more than that, it showed something bigger. In a world full of noise and bluster, quiet facts and steady delivery can cut deeper than any shout. The debate wasn't ending tonight. It was just getting started, and whatever came next, the power of staying cool under fire had won the round. What do you think? Truth exposed or line crossed? Drop your take below. Press the subscribe button now so you don't miss any episodes. Turn on notifications to be notified as soon as new videos are released. Like and comment below. Do you think Colbert went too far, or was he just doing his job as a presenter? What's your opinion? We read all comments. Thank you for watching this far. See you in the next video. And remember, sometimes the truth just needs a calm person to reveal it.